Congratulations again. It's a terrific achievement. You must be so proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of a lot of people around the club who've contributed to this, and it is a reward for in a difficult time like this. It's a reward for the fans, it's a reward for the efforts of the players, it's a reward for the staff, etc. And it's a reward for the recruitment that was done in the summer, because we do have an excellent squad. And so for me personally, it was just a sort of a vindication of a lot of what people have done, it's great because the club's. The thing I love best is certainly last year, or the year before rather, when some guy tweeted that his son said to him, "Dad, what time do we normally set out for Wembley?" which is a great statement of how far the club's come.
Absolutely. And let's put Tuesday into context, because Oxford United, one of the in-form teams in League One. So that underlines just how special this fixture was.
Yeah, it was. And I think that people said, well, it's a vindication of what the EFL did to you. It's a vindication of us coming back strongly and proving to people that we're a League One club. We knocked out Peterborough, who again are a strong League One outfit, etc. This isn't a question of vindication. I've said many times it is about the best revenge is sort of living well, and I think this is just part and parcel of that in terms of the club's response to COVID, and in terms of which included the demotion, etc. So. It was special because we also have a squad of players, and it's a good way of actually keeping that competition for places, because I think we made 6 changes, I may be wrong on that, on the night, and the lads performed exceptionally well. And then when we needed to, we could bring on the guys who've been playing week in and week out in the first team as well later on in the game. So it gave us a chance to rest people, but also for people to make and stake a place in the first team, which is massively important on the run-in that we've got, which is heavily crowded with fixtures.
I mean, it's been what a 12 months for everybody in the world, never mind just locally. But how do you reflect on the last 12 months for Tranmere then, Mark?
Well, as you say, it's been very difficult for a lot of people, and I'm actually quite proud of what the people at the club have done. And when I talk about that, I also talk about what the fans of the club have done. I very often say the fans are the club. But if you then start to look at what we've actually achieved through COVID, despite the demotion and everything else, we put a new pitch in, and people are saying, wow, I know some people are complaining about the amount of grass on it, but we haven't had a game called off. Massively important when you're coming into a run-in, we're not losing games as people have been. And a lot of effort went into that. You're then looking at what, I go into the ground on the odd occasion when I need to, and I bump into volunteers who are there cleaning the seats still, and have been doing right the way through. So, the community effort that the club's been involved in has been fantastic as well. The football's gone away at times, but the club hasn't, and they've been, we've I think it was about 30,000 meals by September, and we've continued to do that right the way through. And what is probably not known by people is that we've also managed to deliver on a lot of projects that we were looking at. We're looking at the 3G pitch at the campus. We're looking at refurbing the rec centre. We're looking at taking over the Beechwood Community Centre, etc. So, and there's much more that's been done as well, which people don't see. So, whilst some clubs I think have adopted the approach of they want to hibernate and survive, we've very much adopted the approach of we want to manage COVID and thrive. And I think that's, that'll all sort of come to the fore when some things will come out in the course of the next 2 or 3 months. And again, across the top of that, of course, you've got, we're at Wembley, and we've actually got a great run into the end of the season. So for me, I think a great deal of pride in sitting there as the chairman of a club that's managed to do that.
Yeah, another word on Wembley, Mark, because now that your opponents will be Sunderland, in decent form themselves, but a club with a rich tradition and a headline club, aren't they?
Yes, they are, and they are a great club, really well supported. Massive disappointment that we can't have fans at the game. What I would say is I did today informally ask the EFL as to why they couldn't move the cup back to give us a better chance of having fans there. Their initial response was, well, it's too difficult. There's sponsors uncertainty and don't want to take the risk on the Euros. No indication the crowds will be back, which I think is a bit of an irrelevant excuse. And I've gone back and said, look, if you're chasing to try and get fans into the FA Cup final and the Carabao Cup final, why not some simple expedient of moving this backwards and stopping this perception that fans have that this is a Mickey Mouse competition, which they've had to fight for years to try and achieve that. And now here they are almost admitting that, I think, by not seeking to make this the event that it should be. So instead of that, we've got a game on the 14th of March where we possibly won't have any fans there.
They'll be there in spirit, that's for sure, the Super White Army.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And, we will still enjoy it just for that. We're actually thinking of probably doing some copying Marine to some extent and having some virtual tickets, not for the benefit of the club, but for the benefit of our community trust. So, if we can sell those tickets, and if you look at it, if Sunderland did the same, because they would have 40-odd thousand people there, we'd have 15, maybe 20,000 people there, and if you can sell those virtual tickets, and that in our case we put it to charity, then the more details that will come out a bit later on, probably next week. But that would be a tremendous boost and a tremendous use of the game as something that aids the community efforts that the club has been doing throughout COVID and will continue to do. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, Mark, like you said, Wembley, it's just wonderful part of football for any club. But I'm sure you're going to tell me the main goal this season, to get promotion. Keith Hill's settled in really well, hasn't he, since his appointment? And it looks to us that, crucially, the players all buy into what he wants them to do.
Yeah, and we've just had a meeting this afternoon in terms of some of the plans that we've got for developing what I call the football process of the club, which is about recruitment, development, and management of the players. And we were defining exactly what a Tranmere player looks like. A lot of people talk about that, and a lot of it is resilience and stuff like that. But equally, the style of play that we want. Now that we're back in the Football League. I've always liked us to press from the front. I think that's an obvious thing to do. And when we were picking a manager, that was something that Keith was saying. He's had Eden with that. And you see that with the lads that we've got. And they understand how hard they have to work. But it's one of those things, the human mind sort of says, well, you can't be a hard-working player and a really skillful player. There's absolutely no law against that. And so you're seeing our lads putting in real effort now. And that's what I think the Tranmere fans, I think most fans like that, but I think Tranmere fans in particular really relate to that, and they're seeing that. And then on top of that, we've also overlaid what we think in the summer we were trying to get, which is players who are comfortable on the ball, and you see that we've signed Callum on a longer deal because we think he's an excellent prospect, etc. So I think that Keith he was chosen for that was one of a few reasons. But he equally has, he has a good track record that people seem to miss in terms of what he has done in the past, and he fits with the likes of Dorsey and Parkey, who are excellent coaches who also know Tranmere as well. So, yes, it is working out, but of course, at this point in time, there's no cigar. Speak to me about that at the end of April and May, and probably on March the 14th in the evening after we've played the final. So, great where we are at this point in time. Good position to be in. Keith has settled in well, as you say, and we'll see whether that ends up with us achieving what we want to achieve, which is promotion. And if we get the cup on the way, then that's fantastic as well.
Yeah, because you do look as if you've got strength in depth to achieve what you want to this season, Mark. Because looking at that bench on Tuesday night, that was a strong bench, wasn't it?
And one of the things I was very keen to do when we were in the window, first of all, we recruited the players that we recruited in the summer. We knew we had a good squad, and it was all well within budget, despite people saying we've gone over the top. It's under budget, in fact. I have to say that. But the other side to it was when you're recruiting players, we were very keen to recruit first teamers. And this sounds fairly obvious, but rather than recruiting what I would call squad players, who would come in and weaken the team. We've always tried to recruit players this season in particular who are first teamers, who would therefore, when they came in and they get their chance, it increases competition for places, but it also means that the squad isn't weakened at any point in time. Massively important on a run-in that was always going to be compacted because of the number of games coming up. So again, we were talking about that today, what we can do to enhance the chances in the running, ensuring that players are fit, etc. So yes, the bench on Tuesday enabled us to rest some players, but equally, if you saw the first half performance, we completely outperformed them, and they had to bring on, and part of this. They as I understand it, they have a squad of players and they rotate, so they're all first teamers again, and so that's what we've actually done ourselves, and we think that we're very happy with where the squad is at this point in time.